wrestling could be about many, many things in the world. Wrestling could be about the actual wrestling graps themselves, the technical work. It could be about the storylines. It can be character development within, the world of wrestling. But the one thing that truly does matter is championship gold. And there's no more important championship gold to have than a world champion, whether that be the undisputed championship or the world heavyweight champion in the WWE. And I wanted to kind of run by 10 men who I believe should be a world champion by the end of the year. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying that you should invest in them being a world champion by the end of the year. But I just think, I think it'd be cool to, have these people as world champions. And hopefully I get at least 4. It's about the most I can ask for, just 4 of them right. I will be doing another one for the women. I honestly wanted to make this a video that's reasonably timed, not 40 minutes. I do like the long videos, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not what we're looking for. So let's get straight into it, boys. Also, I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Dom from the DDE channel, and yeah, this video will be 10 men's wrestlers who should be world champions by the end of the year. Now, let's get to it, boys. Let's get started with the Undisputed Championship that is on SmackDown. I want to try to make things a little interesting, so I'll make it less likely to win a world champion versus most likely. So starting out at the very end where I'm thinking it's not gonna happen, but I still think it'd be a lot cooler to see happen, is Ilya Dragunov. I think he would be such a good world champion, dude, because his fighting style, so hard hitting, so brutal. I feel like that's perfect for what a world championship needs. Just a intense fighting style, underdog storyline, because he's not a big dude. He doesn't look like a typical world champion in the WWE. Doesn't look like it. But to see him hold that championship, fight off bigger guys, like if you're going off of SmackDown, a Drew McIntyre would be amazing, a Jacob Fatu would be great. Honestly, the matches he's been having, you could honestly elevate Sami Zayn to a world champion level. You got Carmelo Hayes, he can elevate a bunch of people to his title just because of him not looking like a world championship and being more investing as a world championship. I think he'd be a hell of a person to hold that undisputed championship, dude. And it'd be cool to see it this year. I just don't think it'll happen. Up next, for least likely to, I have Aleister Black. And the only reason I have Aleister Black as part of this is he is technically involved in a world title scenario. He is technically involved in that storyline. He's still interacting with Sami Zayn, he's the United States champion now, but he was, gunning for that world champion. They're having backstage segments with Randy Orton, who won the Elimination Chamber to fight Cody Rhodes for the World Championship. And seeing as they're still building something with this, dark character, almost as if a Karrion Kross type of character for Aleister Black, I think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be nice to see that, dark edginess within the world picture, because we haven't really had that since The Fiend. I think The Fiend was the last character with this dark persona character. The only thing I can think of is maybe Damien was more of a cool guy at that point again. He was the cool guy in the Judgment Day. It's not even Damian Priest. But yeah, I just character wise, hell of a champion to hold. In-ring ability, the same thing with Ilya. It's just amazing striking combinations, dude. I think his strikes, his knees, his kicks, his punches, strikes, all of them are so hard hitting and so precise. And I just think that's a hell of that'd be a hell of a moveset to hold a world championship with. You know, he held the NXT championship with it. Give him the world champion with it. I think it'd be sick. I think it'd be awesome. As of who he fights, literally anybody. Put him in the ring with anybody. I think it'd be a great match regardless. No, yeah, then again, yeah, the storytelling perspective of Aleister Black holding a world champion, I think would be interesting. I think it'd be cool. Yeah, I just don't think it'll happen this year, but if it could happen this year, I'd be down and I'd be so excited for it. The third most likely to win the championship I have is Trick Williams, Trick Daddy, Trick Willie. He's just so good. He's just so good. Honestly, had it not been for the next two I have, also you'll notice I'm specifically looking for people who have not won the championship yet to make things more interesting. But he's just such a big superstar, and it had not been for the next two that I have on my list, I think he should be the next one to hold that champion, if not Randy Orton. Like, Randy wins, he goes on a good run with it and loses it to Trick Williams. If it was my world and I didn't have the other two, that should be the next course of action. But he's just so good. Like I've said before, talking to a friend, if you're looking at a world, if you're looking at superstar potential, you gotta look at Trick Williams. Trick Williams is a personification of what a WWE superstar is, and it's so good at it. Catchphrase, whoop that trick, and being in a live audience hearing it, it's so good. It's so awesome. His presence, his promos, his moveset, he's someone who looks that's another thing, he's someone who looks like a world champion. You could place any world champion on him, it wouldn't matter, it will look good. So yeah, he's so good. I honestly think this is where the next two on the list, including Trick, is where it's like this, we're looking at this year. If say something goes wrong or right, depending on what it falls, we could be looking at a new champion, and I think it would be Trick Williams. Oh, that'd be so good. The next one I have on my list is Sami Zayn. He is currently the United States champion, which I'm not even going to lie to you, I'm not the biggest fan of personally, but they've already done it. It is what it is. Oh well. But he's currently the United States champion, feuding with Trick Williams, where I honestly now believe that Trick versus Sami for the United States champion at WrestleMania, Trick is going to win that United States champion there, which could free up Sami Zayn, which is what I'm predicting. I think later on down the line, he should be at least competing for the world champion. He should be competing for that undisputed championship, and I honestly think, hopefully, he should win it this year. The only reason why I haven't put him number one for SmackDown is I just think they're going to wait till next year. I think they're waiting till next year for it. That's my only reason. He has everything you would need to be a world champion. Mainly as a face, but also there are some aspects heel-wise you could have him win a world champion. He has always been the underdog from the underground. Although he wins a fair bit a lot, he still can be a believable underdog. I was watching a Santi's video where it's I know it's Sami and he wins a lot, but at Saturday night's main event, when it was Matt Cardona, it was Randy Orton, Trick Williams, and Sami. Although Sami wins, and although he did end up winning that match, the fact that he just didn't look like any of the other three kind of in your mind made you think of him as an underdog in a way. And I believe that. I feel like with the right opponent, with the right story, you could look at Sami as a underdog type of person. You know what I mean? Underdog character. All the achievements he's already seems to done. You know, he's already been a United States champion. I believe he's. Oh, actually, I'm gonna look that up. Multiple times he's been a tag team champion, main event at WrestleMania before. He's fought for so many titles that he's yet to win. I feel like there's really no other time than this year. And if not this year, the only other time you have is next year. We'll get to that point too, where like there's no other time than now with another person. You probably already know who it is. But it really feels like it's either this year or next year. You kind of lost all the chances you have with a Sami Zayn world champion. But I feel like he has all the right tools, all the right motivation, storyline, you know, progression to where he should be a world champion by now this year. Or hopefully at least ending this year. No. And then the last one I have when it comes to a potential undisputed world champion win this year, I think it's Jacob Fatu. I think he is the most likely, or at least on the closest course to becoming a world champion by this year. Like, honestly, I think he's been the closest one, because if you really think about it, since the beginning of this year, since January, since Drew McIntyre won the whole title, it's been, and he returned. It's always been a what are they going to do at Mania? Could it be a Drew versus Cody versus Jacob? You know, maybe you can add a Randy. Maybe you can add a Aleister Black. You can add a Sammy. Like, it was always, but Jacob was always in that conversation when it was like, what are they going to do for that undisputed championship? Because it's Jacob and it's Drew and Cody, but Jacob's also in this storyline, so you could make him into a world champion program. And honestly, depending on and if they would have committed with that, and they wanted to do a whole nother storyline with Drew and Cody, you could have honestly argued a Jacob win at that point if they had followed through with it. So that's why I have him more high up, because like he was there, he was in the conversations, he was in the talk, and I know Sammy was in the talk too, but that was if anything, that was more of a throwaway than anything, as like maybe a Sammy, maybe an Aleister, and honestly at that point maybe a Randy. It was always kind of a thing of, at least online wise, where it was like a Drew, Cody, and Jacob. Those are the three that we are kind of looking at potentially fighting for this undisputed championship at Mania. And then it became adding a couple other people, and as the weeks and weeks progressed, storylines started to build. You know, then Elimination Chamber happened, and then we have Randy winning. So now it's like, oh, are they going to do a 4-way where Jacob's still involved in it? And, you know, it's Cody, Drew, Jacob, and Randy. Like, Jacob was always in the circle of the undisputed championship. But honestly, take that away, dude. He's amazing. He's just so good. Like, I'm going to say that a lot, but for everybody I talk about, they're just so good. And I honestly, well, apart from one, I'm going to be honest, but I just think they're very good. And I think that because we haven't had I'm not going to say dominant SmackDown champion in so long. Like, Roman Reigns was the last thing we had to and I don't mean like, oh, they held this champion for this long, or like, oh, they're the main event star. I mean like someone who could theoretically run through the roster like a Brock Lesnar did, or I'm thinking of somebody and they're not in my head anymore, and it's going to piss me off. I can't think of their name, but like Brock Lesnar is the only thing that's coming to mind, where it's like if you put a championship on them and you just send the roster to him, send the roster, have him beat him, almost to the point to where who the fuck else is left at that point. Like, I feel like Jacob could play that role very well, where it's like you can literally send him Cody to lose, you can send him Drew to lose, you can send him Randy to lose, Sammy, Aleister, Carmelo, you know, hell, fucking Street Profits, if they ever come back. Where are the Street Profits? But I feel like, yeah, Jacob could be a hell of a dominant champion on the brand of SmackDown. That honestly, as much as I don't really want it, I just thought about it. You can make Solo feel a little more important by adding him back into that world champion picture. because he's been stuck in the tag team division in the United States Championship division since since the debut Netflix episode where he lost the tribal chief status and just kind of never went back for a world champion. Because it was SmackDown. He was fighting Cody for the world champion and lost. Yeah, it was. I feel like Jacob can make the Bloodline, the MFTs, more of a somewhat established group or established store, just really kind of be connected family-wise to him. But yeah, Jacob would be a good championship choice too, and I'd hope to see that. I'd hope to see that. And now we are moving over into the World Heavyweight Champion division on Monday Night Raw. The same way I did it on SmackDown. Least likely to win a world champion to most likely to win a world champion. I also did it to where I made sure to pick nobody who has won a world champion before. Because I think it makes it a lot more interesting. You know, I've asked people, who do you think is going to win a champion by the end of this year? They vote Roman Reigns, a Drew McIntyre, like a Liv Morgan, and it's like they've already won a world champion. Give me someone who hasn't. I think that'd be more better. Anyways, starting off least likely to win it, Penta. I didn't watch a whole lot of AEW, and if I did, I don't fully remember all the times I've watched it to like see Penta or anything like that. Like I think the last Dynamite I watched was when the elite at that point of the Bucks, Nick and Matt, Okada, and they had just recruited Jack Perry, beat up Tony Khan. That was the last Dynamite I watched. From that point on, I kind of slowly fell out to watching it. I still followed it, but I wasn't watching live. The pay-per-views I tried to keep up with. I tried to keep up with weekly shows, but I never really sat down and watched an episode of AEW since that point. So when Penta came to WWE, I was like, I've never seen this guy before, or at least actively wrestle to my knowledge. He made his entrance. The entrance itself, already main event status. The pyro, the music, the character of Penta is just so nice and smooth and clean. He's so cool. He's very cool. And then getting to see him wrestle Chad Gable, AJ Styles, I believe he wrestled, right? I'll have to look that up again too. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm imagining things, but I do remember the Chad Gable match he had. It was like, that's someone who I believe could hold a mid-card champion really soon. Like he started like kind of claiming IC champion gold at that point. I'm like, that would be great to have, because I think at that point it was Braun Breaker who was the IC title holder, and then he kept adding himself to the IC picture, and then he eventually wins it recently, beating Dominic Mysterio for the championship, which we'll get to later. And I really do feel like his range when it comes to like popularity is so high, because he's over in the States, he's over in like Belgium, France, Germany, he's over in all of the outer, he's over waters, and then he's clearly one of the best things in Mexico. Clearly he's a fan favorite in Mexico, and to have somebody like Penta holding a world champion representing Hispanic and Mexican culture, that'd be amazing. That'd be such a smart move to do, and that'd be such a good like push of confidence for Penta, and I really think it'd be cool to have it this year, but I think he's holding that championship until I'd honestly argue probably next year. He's going to hold that championship for a good amount of time, but no, I'm looking forward to a potential world champion hopefully soon. the next person I have, honestly, which I think is funny, right behind Penta, is a Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom. Honestly, the whole title of this channel, Dirty Dom's Entertainment. You know, as a Dominic myself, I quite like him. I quite like Dirty Dom. I think he's great. But the reason I have him this low is for a couple of reasons. One, I think he's going to be focused on Judgment Day business probably till the end of this year, or at least until SummerSlam, and I don't think he'll really have a chance at that point to fight for a world champion. So like a Sami Zayn, we're probably looking more towards the next year, but that won't be the end all be all. Like Sami Zayn, if it doesn't happen next year, it's kind of over. Dom, you still have time to invest in. You still have time to make a credible threat for a world champion. Like, you started making him a good credible threat for the IC title till Mania, to where he won it, and then not the most beautiful reign, because he didn't really do all that much with it, but then you found his bag, lying, cheating, and stealing the Eddie Guerrero way, and that's where the title defenses of Dom became more engaging. When he was cheating, he was getting away with things, you know, sneaking little heel tactics, all of that just for the IC title. I think that'd be a hell of a thing to do for the, you know, World Heavyweight Championship. Like, if you could have him in, you know, feuds with Seth Rollins, you know, honestly, you could have Finn. I thought about Finn, but I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I really do. As much as I love Finn Balor, I think the boat's sailed, and that does hurt my feelings. I love Finn. I think the boat's gone. But you could have a Dominic versus Finn feud for a world champion, having Dominic hold that champion, you know, cheating his way into defending that champion and retaining that champion. I think that's such a good character to have. But also, story-wise, you know, he's already claiming to be the greatest Mysterio of all time when he was holding that Intercontinental Champion and the AAA Mega Championship. Why not solidify that and give him that World Heavyweight Champion on Monday Night Raw? That will really, because he's already, I honestly do believe that I'd argue and say he's already at least on the same level as a Rey Mysterio. You know, Rey's more legendary, but when it comes to like in-ring story, promo, Dom is maybe, if not a little over, just leveled with Rey as great. Because I think he is really good character-wise. I think he's good in-ring wise, and I think if you gave him a world champion, I think you could really make the argument of him being the greatest Mysterio of all time. Yeah, true potential, and I really think again, from a Dom to another, I really just want to see it. I really just want to see a fellow Dominic hold a world champion, represent us well, you know. So yeah, that'd be fucking sick. Alright, this one, I'm not gonna lie, this one I kind of fell out of for the longest, but I honestly can't deny it, and I'm not gonna argue it, but I just don't fully care. But if it had to happen a year, it had to be this year. I'm talking about LA Knight. Yeah, it has to happen this year. You know, like, this is really, unless he wins Money in the Bank and does it next year, that's fine. But if you're talking pure world champion fighting, it has to be this year. LA Knight has to win a world champion this year. You know what I mean? Because I was there for the hype when he was in the first Money in the Bank, where he was in his first Money in the Bank with let's see if I can remember the people. It was LA Knight, it was Damian Priest, it was Pete Dunne, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, and Logan Paul, I believe it was. I'll look it up later, and then I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm just gonna say that's right. But I was watching at that point. I was watching the gradual and continuous rise, week in, week by week by week by week, to get to that point. And I was definitely one of the people there who was like, yeah, LA Knight should be holding this championship. LA Knight should be holding a Money in the Bank for the championship. And so they gave it to Damian, which in the longer run, I'll be honest, I like more. And like time has passed, and the more I thought about it, I actually do like the fact that they gave it to Damian more and more. But yeah, in that moment, it was like a drop the ball. They dropped the ball on LA Knight. There's no one hotter right now. There's no one better right now than LA. And then I believe that was 2022. I was about to say, I believe at that point he started fighting for the no, it was that year. Yeah, because Randy came back. He started fighting for the undisputed champion with Roman, Randy, and it was Roman, Randy, LA Knight, and AJ Styles, because that was that Royal Rumble match where honestly it wasn't gonna happen, but that would have been good to see if he had won it there. And then he just never did. And then they put him in the Money in the Bank again, where I was like, okay, surely this is the year he wins it, right? They gave it to Drew, and a move that I was less excited about and more angry. And at that point, I was more of like well, maybe he won't be a world champion anytime soon. And I just can't. And then yeah, they did it 3 years in a row where it's like, okay, LA Knight wins it this year, and they gave it to somebody else. They gave it to Seth Rollins, and I just don't care. I don't care. But again, I can't argue the fact that he's still extremely over with the fans, still gets good reactions, still has a good catchphrase of yeah and let me talk to you. Like, he's still over, he still has crowd support behind him, and I can't argue that. Now what will lose me is in-ring ability. I never got excited for an LA Knight match. I'm not gonna lie. Anytime it's been LA Knight, I want to hear what he wants. I want to hear what he wants to say. It's like The Miz. I've never really cared for The Miz, in ring wise, but anytime his music hit and I saw him holding a mic, I then become engaged. What is he gonna say? What is he gonna do? I want to hear it. I want to hear what he has to say. So yeah, I don't fully like his in-ring ability, but I do think I do still think he can hold his own with a world champion. I do still think he'd be a credible champion, depending on who you have him face, who he wins against, who he beats for that champion will kind of also determine credibility. But I do think he wins Money in the Bank this year. Hopefully, if not him, then I want Trick Williams to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. But if he wins this year, then honestly, looking at an early cash-in. If he does win and doesn't do it this year, we could still be looking at a cash-in next year. Long story short, he should win a champion soon, because if he doesn't, then honestly, it's game over. It's a Finn Balor, it's a game over. He's not going to win a championship anytime soon. But yeah, but he still, I think there's still hope. There's still hope. The second most likely to me who should be winning a world champion this year, Obafemi. It's Obafemi. Make him a world champion by this year, please. It's the easiest decision to make. It's the easiest decision to make right. And if I'm really predicting correctly, if he beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I really believe he should just be in the world champion picture immediately. I'm being dead ass. Because I was thinking about it too, it's like he could win the IC title from Penta, which would still be hella cool, but then that means he'd have to lose that IC title to then fight for the world champion. I don't want him to lose relatively soon. I want him to beat Brock Lesnar, sign to Raw, and then just start tearing through the division straight to fucking CM Punk or Roman Reigns. I made my prediction video on who wins at WrestleMania. I'm still honestly not sure. I said Roman. I said Roman in my prediction videos. I might stick with it, but honestly, if I do stick with it, I think that's still the right choice. Because imagine an Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. What the fuck? Obafemi versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam for the World Champion. Doesn't that sound nice? I really want it. I don't want to spend all that much time on this one. I just want Obafemi to hold a world champion this year. And again, like with a Dominic Mysterio, with a Jacob Fatu, it's never too late, because you still have enough time and investment to put into the superstar to make him a world champion credible. But what better way to make him a world champion material than to just make him the world champion? He was longest reigning North American champion, 2-time NXT champion, very dominant NXT champion too, to where he didn't even lose that championship. He honestly just dropped it and said, "I'm done with NXT. Get me to the main roster." You know what I mean? Like, he would be a hell of a champion. And like I said with Jacob, he'd be a hell of a force to reckon with if he was a world champion on Raw. That's for Brock Lesnar. Like, I compared Jacob to Brock Lesnar when it came to like dominance. That's a comparison. Obafemi is the Brock Lesnar. I'm not saying it's like a Brock. He is the Brock Lesnar to the world champion division if he ever wins it this year. He is holding that belt forever until the Rock comes in. The Rock's gonna come in and then take the belt from him for whatever reason. I think that's the only way he loses a world champion. He actually has to have someone who is like star power wise 10 times bigger. Roman's bigger, but he's not the Rock. You know what I mean? Like if Oba wins this belt, he's holding it for a while. His promo work is honestly very good. It's better than I thought. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I didn't follow him throughout NXT, but the matches I did see of him in NXT, the segments I saw with him in NXT, I did see the next big thing, the next best thing when it comes to this division. And to see him hold a championship would be, I think, the best thing for your brand. Like, if you want it to be the IC title, sure, fine. I'm not going to complain. But I think for better business, for not only y'all, for Oba, honestly, for more stock, and then for the WWE universe, it has to be a world champion, and it has to be this year, because he's on the top of his game right now, and he should be holding a world champion. And the last superstar I have for the heavyweight championship on Raw is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker needs to be a world champion. Y'all had a chance to do it when they took out Seth, and I'm honestly, even in the moment, I'm still so disappointed they didn't just let him keep the championship. But then I'm double upset the fact that they didn't even put him in the Battle Royal, and so, for an opportunity at the World Heavyweight Champion. So it was just a thing of like, what are we doing with Braun Breaker? He should have honestly lost the IC belt. Because honestly, really think about it. If plans did go through, he would have been a world champion this year. I think that's why I have my number one. He would have been a world champion this year, because he joined Seth last year, the night after Mania. They go through their little thing, they start fighting, and then he wins the world champion at that year's SummerSlam. Seth Rollins wins the world champion off of CM Punk at SummerSlam. And so then I believe what the plan was, so Seth then gets hurt. Let's get that out of the way. Seth gets hurt. So then, Braun takes over the belt. Adam Pearce said, "Hey, can I get that back?" And he said, "Say please. Okay, can I please get that back?" There you go. And then they just walked away. It was like, what the fuck was that? What was that? But then what came out was the plan was supposed to be, and if I'm getting it right, for this year's Mania, it was supposed to be CM Punk versus Braun Breaker, and then Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. And I think because a lot of things started to fall through at once, you know, like a bunch of injuries at once. Because, yeah, like, again, Seth got injured. Who else was injured at that time? There was someone else. Jacob was out for a little bit. Randy wasn't injured, but he just wasn't being featured. There was someone else who was out, but I can't think of it. But yeah, at some point, because of a bunch of injuries and a bunch of other things going on, plans had to change. Things had to be moved around. So then Braun got moved out of the world champion picture. And he's still feuding with Seth. And I think he should still be, you know, in the world heavyweight champion picture. But yeah, I think once his feud with Seth's division ends, make him straight, bring him straight to the world championship picture. Because I think, again, he's another. It's so him, Braun, Oba, and Jacob. Those are like your three big bad guys who I think could just run through the division if they really wanted to. And I think Braun should be on that list of world champions to like at least consider, because that championship looks very good on him. Most devastating spear in the business. I think him and Roman Reigns are the only two who should be doing the spear. And I really think, yeah, legacy and all of that, you could build the next 10 Manias around Braun Breaker if you really wanted to, as long as he's holding that world champion. Like, make him the new Roman Reigns if you really wanted to. I think it'd be sick. But yeah, those are the 10 men who I believe should be a world champion by the end of this year. I'm sorry, I failed my thing. I yapped for much longer than I wanted to. It's once I start talking, I want to keep talking. You know what I mean? That's kind of the whole point of this channel. I like to talk, dog. I like to talk about wrestling too, mainly. But yeah, this video is like going to be 40 odd minutes, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, those are the 10 men who I believe should be a world champion by the end of this year. I'm going to be doing the women very soon, which I honestly think will be I'm not going to say harder, but there are going to be some women where you got to make a little bit of a better argument for the men. The men, I think, has been easier because the men move so fast to where you could just snap a finger, boom, title picture. Like Ilya Dragunov was in that world title picture for a second. You know what I mean? He was in the tournament to become a world champion. He just didn't win. But the fact that he was like in the picture to fight for that world champion is like, wow, the women just don't really move all that much, and that's what's really hurting. And so that's going to be a bit of a argument to make, but it's there. But that'll be up next after this video. I hope you enjoy. If you did, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Please turn on that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. In case you missed it, the channel schedule: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays for the Raw review, Friday for the SmackDown review, and then Wednesday will just be my shit post. The post I'll just throw out. Here's my video idea for y'all this week. But yeah, I just want to really thank y'all for watching and supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I'll see y'all whenever I can. Peace.